Hello, Mad Ones. Today I'm going to show you some work I had from a long time ago, and just like the title said, anyone can draw, and I'll show you that. This is when I was in between 7th and 8th grade, as you see at the bottom. Most of these pictures was back when I really started getting into wanting to do art. When I was younger, I would piddle around like most kids, coloring books and etc. But then it started dawning on me at some point around about 3rd, 4th grade, I like writing stories. I had to do one for a project, and I wrote a little short story, and it was nice, and I enjoyed it, and everybody in the class, even the teacher, was impressed. And I had to say it really was something that I enjoyed. Not many people know this, and I don't even care to tell this. I had dyslexia growing up, and what helped me read was comic books. That's what kept my attention. That's what helped me understand words, understand the meaning of them. I even went as far as going, when I had time, to look in a dictionary and have my mother or someone from the literacy council, because I even had a tutor to help me, and those things, and that was the literature I chose to read. They said, as long as you're reading, read something. So I picked up comic books, graphic novels, and science fiction novels, and I enjoyed that. And in doing so, it really just brought my mind to a place of fantasy that I wanted to create. Some of the pictures, as you see, I had general ideas with the concepts that I wanted to do, but at that time I couldn't figure out what direction, angle, dynamic angle, all of that stuff. I didn't understand any of that. None of that. That was like speaking a whole different language to me. But I did have the drive and the passion. That never left. Still, even today, drives me mad because I do have the drive and the passion. But on the other hand, having that also allows you to be able to push forward harder than most people. Not to say that just in having an enjoyment of art is not good, but if you have a little bit of a hunger for it, you're going to want it more. This is around about 9th grade to 11th grade, and the reason why it says 11th grade is because there is a hiatus where I stopped drawing for like 2 or 3 years. We'll explain that later. But as you can see here, I was trying different things. That's Krillin, Vegeta earlier, just trying to draw them. Didn't really figure out the bodies, had trouble with bodies, but I could do the heads. So I started just working on different things like that, trying to figure out lettering, bubble lettering, where to position. And I was reading a lot of how-to books at this time as well. Some of the influence of my artwork came from Dragon Ball Z, Cowboy Bebop, Rurouni Kenshin, not the animated series, but Samurai X, Trust and Betrayal, all those kinds of things. I was really into that, The Matrix, and then things that I was into as well. These two pictures here, I started tracing, just trying to get an idea of how it felt with line work. And this is around about the time that I stopped drawing at all. I got depressed and I tried to destroy all my work. And I ran across this in another folder. And this is what reminded me when I decided to pick back up. I got ready to throw all that old stuff away. And at one point in time, I got ready to throw even this away. I didn't understand what I was doing at the time, but I'm glad I held on to it. That took me about a week to do, off and on, just piddling with it, couldn't figure it out. Some of these are right after I got out of school, some of these are a little bit later. But what I'm trying to say is everybody starts somewhere, and it doesn't matter what your skill level is. It doesn't matter if you are at the top of the top, or you say like most people, oh, I can just draw a stick figure. If you have the passion to do it, you will do it. If you want to do it, you will do it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter if you look at someone and they tell you, oh, your work is great, you have great talent, that I hear all the time, all the way to when I tried to go to a school that I'm not even going to say the name, but the director of the school said that I had an elementary skill level when I tried to actually take my portfolio, which was in a completely different book. But I didn't let that crush me. I kept going. I kept pushing. And I knew one day I would get to where I need to be. And now I made my own art style. I have my own style. And that's the other thing too. Don't worry about styles. Yes, there's formulas and proper ways of doing things, lighting and shading and texture and concepts and all of these things, but you don't have to worry about those. Those things are nice, but if you really just have a passion for it, just try it. You'll figure that out later. That will all come later. But picking up a pen, pencil, calligraphy pen, whatever you want, do it. You feel down, sad, draw. You feel upset, draw. Nothing's better feeling than taking a hunk of paint on a brush and slamming it on a canvas when you're pissed. It just feels good. And sketching out something, it doesn't matter if it has one arm bigger than the other, if the face is off or something, keep drawing at it. One day it will turn into what you want it to be, if you really want it. It's long nights, long days, a lot of mental struggle, but at the end of the day it's worth it if that's your drive and if that's your passion. I also would like to say as well, as you can see here with my work, I started changing. There's nothing wrong with change in your work. Your work will manifest. It will start to evolve as you go along. It will evolve as you start to do more, as you start to learn how angles work. As you see here, started learning different sizings and proportions, started practicing more with panels and trying to understand faces and arms and chest and the heads. All of these things I started to understand, and this took a while. But during this time is also when an arc in my artwork changed forever, pretty much around this time. I got serious and I started a rough draft of my first actual comic that I wanted to fully work on, which is this right here. I spent a lot of time, especially during the time that when I did this, when I started, was during a dark time in my life. My uncle was sick, and I chose not to go to art school because he needed someone to help him full time. He had cancer. I wouldn't have changed it for anything in the world. He needed it, and I was strong enough to help him, and we have family to help. But I never gave up. Took him every time I went to treatment. I was doing these pictures, drawing this. I was doing the concept work for my comic book, and now I've got a final draft of what I want to do. And I want to tell you guys, don't ever give up on what you're doing. Days will be hard, things will happen, people will say things. You'll come across stuff that will make you feel like you don't want to be involved with it, but one day you'll end up turning around and look at what you can make. Anyways, you guys take it easy. I'll see you around. All right, bye.